Some stuff to cover, and we had our Kellys at last, so we're going to kind of catch up and do some March celebrations as well as April. So without further ado, we're already about 4 or 5 minutes in, so let's get started. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So as we always start, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep this short and sweet, so we're going to go first 3 hands. Let's go with a bucket fill, something good, something you've experienced, someone else in the market center. Chintan, let's go.
I just did my first closing business.
Yes, sir.
I would like to thank, obviously, our market center, but overall, Mike, he's been an amazing coach. He held my hand through and through. Like, he didn't even leave me once. Like, I literally ate his head in this entire transaction because back and forth, it went very bad, but he guided me very well. We have an amazing coach over here. He's an amazing guy.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for that, and thank you, Mike, as well. Let's go. Number 2, something good. We've got so many positive things happening. Oh, thank you. Go ahead.
Adam's here for team meeting.
Adam's here.
He stopped me in the middle of the street yesterday.
Yeah.
We're talking about my neighbor who didn't pick me.
Yeah.
I said, you want team meeting tomorrow? He goes, well, what's team meeting? He said, I'm going to Gary. I'm like, no, come first.
Yes, yes. Listen, if you're going to take time during the day, let's take it all, right? So, appreciate you being here, Adam, for sure. One more.
Nobody else has gratitude?
Come on, Carolyn.
Come
I'm
on.
always going to fill the bucket with Amber Lee Carey for all the stuff that she does, and I think we all missed her from the 2 weeks.
I thought it was like a month and a half. Yes, definitely grateful to have Amber back.
Y'all, I keep saying it, y'all are lucky I came back.
She said she almost didn't, but.
My flight with my layover in New York was canceled, and I took that as a personal sign that I needed to be on the plane that was turning around and going back.
But we forced her to come on back. Yeah, great. All right, let's keep on trucking then. Thank you. April and May birthdays. As you can see, there were quite a few. So how about we just do this? Any April or May birthdays, please stand up.
4 days. Lots of born days.
Good. And guess what? Lots of anniversaries as well. Let's talk about it. April and May KW anniversaries. If you're somewhere up there and you should know who you are, please stand up. All right, Jen.
Jen and Jen.
Two of the 15 gens that we have. Absolutely. All right, cool. We have some exciting things coming up. Amber's going to try and get through those if her voice allows.
Yeah, these allergies, man, they're kicking my tail. So we have Aubrey coming next week with Linda Caruso. If you're not familiar with Linda, she is a millionaire real estate agent out of the Palm Harbor office. She runs a small team over there, and they profit $1 million every year. And most of her business comes from farming. So Aubrey and Linda will be teaching farming, will make you millions. All about how to pick the perfect place to farm, the best way to launch a strategy, what it should cost you, how to get involved, all of the ways that you really can, from start to finish, leverage farming within your business to find more business and find more business.
And if you're not aware of Aubrey Bailey, OP extraordinaire.
Random guy, never heard of him. So that'll be Wednesday from 11 to 12:30 here in Tampa.
So you already have this class in Palm Harbor, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, I was there.
What'd you think of it?
It's amazing.
Say it louder.
It's amazing.
There you go. So there's your ringing endorsement. All right. And then, Mike, actually, since you're in the room, do you want to chat for a second about Capper Academy?
All right, so we are launching Capper Academy again. Previously, we've done it in this market center and in Clearwater. Who should attend? It's anybody who wants to cap or cap again or cap in. I was just explaining to one of the agents that I'm working with in coaching. We were talking about the 80-20 split. We looked at one of the agents here in the market center. They're not on an 80-20 split, but because they're a capping agent, right now they're on a 93-7 split. You know, so our 80-20 doesn't always have to be 80-20 if you cap early in your year. So we're going to focus on the activities that millionaire real estate agents are doing to cap early and make $1 million in the business. So
Absolutely.
So-
I know we had some data fall off there at the end, but do we have the numbers from this last one we just finished up as far as production?
I was in Italy, I don't know.
Yes, you were.
I wanna
Where's
say
someone?
that total production through Capra Academy was like 21 million.
I want, it had to be at least 20 to 30 million with 40 or 50 units created inside of 12 weeks. We had about 15 to 20 people-ish graduate, meaning they attended more than half of the program. Several people who were in the room were agents already in production, agents who've done a few deals, never done a deal, capping agents. So it was a little bit of everybody in the room, but as Mike mentioned, the focus is on different ways to lead generate, meet new people, talk to people that you already know and have done business with, and finding referrals. So it'll be a 12-week education program with a 13th week graduation to celebrate your success and reward you for all of your hard work. It's gonna launch on June 3rd in Clearwater. It'll be basically every Tuesday thereafter from 11 to 12:30. We move around some for important events like FES. So you will get an email about that, many emails, many text messages, many social media posts, because it's that important.
And we're seeing great success with it, you know, both the Clearwater session and then the one that we just finished up. So please, if you can be there, be there. We started with about 85 people.
From the 3 market centers, so it's a great
Right.
way to meet some of your agent partners from the other offices, that if you need them to pick up a lockbox, do so, you know, just meeting people that do what we do in our other market centers.
So I think it's a great thing for everybody. Like you said, whether it's a new agent, whether you've capped, you want to cap again, or maybe you haven't capped in a little bit and you want to get back to that, I encourage any of you that can be there, please be there. Yeah, that's it.
I didn't even realize it entailed all that, honestly. I thought we were doing more like a, come in.
Kind of like an
talk
immersive?
call. Yeah, that's, it's almost like a mini, convention of different things to get your business done.
And it's being formatted, for those of you who are familiar with Bold, almost like a baby Bold.
Yeah.
Where there will be tracking for your activities, there's a level of accountability, because the only way that we know you're successful is to make sure you're doing the activities, and the only way to be successful is to do them. So we will be tracking those things. You don't have to come every week if your schedule doesn't allot. If you are in production and you see a topic here that looks interesting to you, feel free to come on by for that. Everybody is welcome.
And the good news is, I'm not an expert in those categories, but the people that will be contributing to the individual sessions are people that do those things at a high level. So I'll just be co-facilitating those.
Nikki Ubaldini, everybody. So you know what we say about the Ubaldinis, if they're on the calendar, it better be in your calendar in permanent markers. So Nikki is hosting a town hall on June 6th from 12:30 to 3:30. She's gonna cover a variety of topics. So all of those hot button issues that you probably have questions about right now, like agency agreements, your EDDAs, insurance particularly, those automobile insurance requirements,
Yeah.
commission updates, things coming out of NAR with the Sitzer-Burnett settlement, new FREC requirements, potential changes to clear cooperation. She's gonna cover all of that. There will be multiple ways to attend so that everyone has the opportunity to participate. Nikki will be live in Clearwater, so she will be teaching directly from the Clearwater training room. They have a smaller training room than we do, so if you would like to sit in the room with Nikki, we need you to register ASAP. We will also be live streaming the Clearwater session here into the training room, so you can watch it live from within here. Or if you are unable to make it in person, there is also a Zoom registration option so that you can be present on Zoom as well. Before you ask, no, I do not know if this session will be recorded. So please do your best to be there in person, because I cannot guarantee that there will be a recording available to you after if you miss it.
And I know all of those topics are very important. I've been receiving a lot of questions from agents regarding the insurance. I know that the requirements have changed up and down a couple times as far as, is it interest, is it insured, is it all three, is it two, what are we doing? So my best advice is, if you have any of those questions or concerns, this is the forum for it.
All right. And then we do have an FES class coming up. This is going to be open to everybody. So our topic today is actually how to get started in luxury, right? Like what luxury looks like, how to improve your price point. Mark Benson is an agent out of the South Florida region. He is in our Palm Beach area. and he sells luxury exclusively. So we are bringing Mark in almost as a follow-up to this team meeting next month on the 24th to teach the mindset of luxury. And this is all about how to really dive deep into what you hear today and apply that to your business. So whether you're a new agent or you're an experienced agent, this class is for everybody. It is not limited to those who do sell luxury real estate. So he's going to talk about the mindset of working with luxury clients, how to market yourself, how to find buyers and sellers in those price points, and how to leverage social media and your brand to really take that to the next level to entice those people to work with you. This is going to be free right here in this room, so make sure you register for this online so that we have enough lunch and materials for you, because it is an all-day class. Okay. Be ready. We ready?
We're ready. So, like I said, we're going to have some congratulations, some well-needed. We're going to go back to March and cover that because you deserve it.
So
we wanna-
remember, the reason that we're doing March and April is because we don't have any data yet. So because we had the Kellys in April, we couldn't celebrate your March, and here we are in May, so now we're celebrating your April. So for those of you who are going, how come there's not May? If you're newer, that's why.
That's why.
That's why.
But we want to make sure that you are getting the deserved recognition at this time. So without further ado, let's take a look at this. Top agents for March. Congratulations if you are on there.
On the top 30, please stand.
Come on. Wow. All right, so for the month of March, top closed volume for individual, Miss Julia Wright.
You had a good year last month.
And here's the thing, here's the funny thing, you're not gonna see me on the chart at all for last month, because my last month went into this month. So
Got
I
it.
went from that to 0, so it happens.
It does.
Yeah,
Good thing you had quite a buffer there.
Yeah.
All right, and for top team, Keita sold, Moreno's with 1.6. And the Rutherford group with just shy of 5 million. Moving on to March, closed units. Again, individual, Julia, 11 units in the month of March. Top team, again, going to the Morenos with 4 units. Last but certainly not least, top group, Rutherford group with 8 units in the month of March. All right, that takes us to the month of April.
So this will be a surprise for you. We just finished this poster, so.
Surprise! If you're on there, let's celebrate.
So April, take a
Let's
look.
go. Stand up. I see some consistency there. I love it. All right. So individuals for the month of March. Woody Word. Woody Word. Right? You got a woodwork. Top team, Wasserberger McGrill, 4 million. And the Rutherford group is just over 5 million. Well done. Here we go. Closed units for the month of April. How about it? Top team, Wasserberger McGrill, Compass Rose, Coastal, a little bit of a tie, 4 units. And closed units goes to the Rutherford group with 12 units for the month. Well done. And then Amber, I know we were talking about in the sense of time, certificate, so I don't see you running around.
Yeah, no, I'm taking steps today. I don't know if you noticed, there's a lot of celebrations that we just had. And on the next slide, you're gonna be like, holy patooties. So your certificates for our first place in GCI units and volume will be in your mailbox later today.
Yes, they shall. They shall. So time to celebrate some cappers.
Holy patootie! earning 100% of their commission in March and April.
Love that. Love that. Time to bring it in now. All right. So before we move forward, we do have some special news today, and I'm going to let her do the majority of the talking. If you've been in the office lately, you might notice that an office really close to mine is still decorated very nicely. It's just missing a person in it. So I'm going to let Cheryl come up and share some big news, and it's all good.
I'm start crying.
Oh, we're trying to prevent that.
So, thank you, Amber. So I have made the decision to, just to step down from my role as assistant team leader. So, you know, I'm gonna keep, recruiting because I just love it so much, and I, really have a passion for this brokerage. And, I'm gonna go back to my life as a realtor and an appraiser, and that's what I'm gonna do.
We still love you, Cheryl.
And I will not, you won't see me, you will see me. I just won't be in those four walls like Mike
That's great.
said. So I'm working on something for my appraisal business that, and now that, well, I was gonna say, now that I have learned so much about realtors, so much about this whole process, I've found that my appraisal business could be tailored a bit more to suit what realtors need in terms of, yeah. My appraiser friends in the business too, we always want to cram that big form down your throat and just give you this big package that you really don't need for a listing or for talking to your seller about a price. And so I'm working on something with my appraisal coach to actually have something that would be a little bit more fluid for you guys and would work throughout the time of your listing. And so that's soon to come, and I'm always here for questions on that appraisal side. I help a lot of my friends here now already with that. But so anyway, the more I would speak to new agents about how great they were going to be in real estate, and they would always ask me questions about appraising, and I just started to miss it so much, and I just, it's just in my soul, and I just, so.
If I may.
I would love to do everything. I want to do everything, but I just got to pick a lane, so.
Yeah, if I may, Cheryl's extremely, and if you guys know her, you know her, but she's extremely passionate about what she does. She's extremely passionate about the market center, and she loves all the agents with all of her heart. I can say that in the months that I've been here, it's clearly evident. I know that she's met with some of you regarding appraisals and has received nothing but just glowing praise. So that is truly her passion, and I'm so excited, and I'm happy when I see Cheryl happy, and we've had some conversations, Red Day, et cetera, that her heart is happy, and that's what's most important to me, so.
And I just want to say thank you to the leadership team. I mean, Amber and Jennifer and Mike and everybody else, Chance and just everybody, like, that has been instrumental in the things that I have learned. I can't express how much I have digested. Mike, geez, so much I have learned and didn't understand on the agent side. And so it's really helping me go forward with the rest of my career. So I'm just, you know, I met with Annika a few weeks ago, and Annika told me.
Went live yesterday.
She said, oh, good, yes. And she said, you know, Earl, you talk about these appraisals and looking at comps, you just come alive. What is going on with you?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that, you know, it's just so true. So anyway, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just shifting a little bit, and I just wanted to tell you guys how much I adore you all, and I'm just grateful for all of you, and you are my friends. Welcome back.
Right. All right, thank you, Cheryl. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. Okay, so, couple things. So, first of all, Top Flight has been generous enough to sponsor us for our lunch today. I don't know if you saw it, Four Rivers has come in, so I'm extremely excited about that.
Oh my
You know, obviously, we've got some things to cover before that, but I'm gonna go ahead and let Chance come up, and I'm gonna let Chance make an announcement, and
All right, let me set a timer on this one because.
whoa, yeah.
Hook me in.
Feeding himself.
Welcome to the TED Talk, everybody. All right, I'm gonna put an hour on the clock.
Perfect. Give or take.
TED Talks are only 18 minutes.
Hey, don't even tell them that.
Challenge accepted.
Wait a minute, I'm gonna say, wait a minute, so it's not
Or,
it's not TED, so it's a chance talk.
Yeah. 1.5 minutes.
Well, yeah, we wanted to make this team meeting very, very special. Obviously, Cheryl making her announcement and whatnot, and then so much good things to celebrate. Great months with March and April with you all, and we have a good luxury panel coming up right now. So we're like, you know what, we're gonna bring the big dogs on lunch, and we're gonna really make this big. But let's take a trip back real quickly. Who can recall back in this market center back in September of 22? All right, a few of us. Yeah, when I stood up here for the very first time in front of you all with a Keller Mortgage shirt on and a gleam in my eye. Man, I was cool. I didn't realize what I was getting into.
And then rough.
Yeah, exactly.
That was about a 3-month, apex right there. And then all of a sudden, as you know, we had to change hats a few times, right, during the time period of being here. But the one thing that stayed consistent, during that time was us, right? Our relationship together. My dedication to you, and our dedication, well, not just mine, but our dedication to you all. And then the relationships that you've all been so generous to return back with us, right? And it means the world. And last year, if I look at production and things, being in a down market last year, I had probably one of the best, I wouldn't say the best years of my career, but the most steady, consistent years of my career. And primarily that was due to a lot of you all. And I just wanted to stand up here and express gratitude to every single person here today, and then also in the office for that, because that means the world. And I know sometimes being the lender in an office, when you already have relationships, can be a really tough position to be in, right? Well, in the nature of growth, you've all probably noticed lately I've been traveling quite a bit, right? And, well, there's a good reason behind that. So, our company has found a need for me to take what I do and expand it on a larger scale. And so they've given me the opportunity to run the Southwest for the company. Yeah. So
Congrats.
So in the midst of that, yeah. Now we're talking prime rib every team meeting. Let's go, baby. Let's go. But in the nature of that, it's hard to run a market when you're on the other side of the country. All right, and so you're not going to have me in the office physically for much longer. We're making a migration out to Colorado.
Wow. Do you need a good realtor?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a good realtor.
That was a tough decision, let me just tell you right there, right? So I'm actually currently under contract on my house. So, yeah. I will say it's not the best experience in the world as a seller right now, and I'm feeling that pain very much so, but we'll work through it. So I just wanted to stand up here, to just share with you all that I never looked at any of this time spent here as transactional by any means. I looked at it as being, with a family. And when I say I bleed red, not literally.
That's good.
That's right. I truly do, right? And I love every single one of you. And there's no other place that I can imagine spending the last few years of my career here than with you all growing. And so with that being said, you'll have me probably for about another month or so, depending on how things go with this transaction right now. But come July, we're looking at trying to be out in market during that time period. So you're not going to lose me in that sense, as far as being there for you still, but just physically being in here, you're not going to have that. But you have Jake, and I just want to share that coming up with a person to come in this office and hold the torch. It's a big pair of shoes to fill, So, but I knew that Jake's got big feet. So there was no problems with that at all, but I assure you that Jake here will take what I've done and probably take it to another level. All right, so if you want to come see me in Colorado, I'd love to see you. If you have a place to stay.
What city? What town?
We're looking in Denver area. So we kind of narrowed it down. I don't know if anyone knows Denver very well, but there's a place over there called Arvada. Yeah. So, or that was the Coloradans like Arvada, because there's an A in it. Whatever. So we're looking in that pocket area. Yeah, we're looking in that pocket area over there. But yeah, and it'll be great. But I'm sorry?
3 hours from Breckenridge.
Yeah.
Noted.
That might have been unpurposeful, so. But thank you so much for everything. I love you all. I genuinely do. And the parting gift, just send me one more deal before I leave.
Lots of news today. So, all right, good. If any of you haven't had the pleasure of meeting Jake, I would definitely recommend stopping by. Stopping by to see him and just introduce yourself and kind of start building that relationship. Well done. Thank you, Chance, for everything. Thank you. All right, without further ado, moving on to our luxury panel. All right, you know who you are? Come on up. If you don't know, it's up on the screen. We'll figure it out. We'll work through it together. You were like, who's on the panel? I'm like, well, there's 3 Jennifers.
Notice I put them all on the same line on the slide.
Jennifers, please separate.
You're going into the
You know that.
right in the middle.
Come on over here, big girl.
I'm trying to separate, but there's just too many of us.
All right. All right. So, great, what a good looking group. You all set up like a team. All right, so. Thanks. So, I have the conversation with people a lot. I get a lot of questions from people, and people want to know about kind of breaking into the luxury market, increasing their price point, and, if they do have some high net worth clients, basically kind of looking for the difference in how to service them, right? So whether it's that, whether it's client events. So we're going to kind of touch on some of those things, and panelists, might be a broad question to everybody, or I might hit each one of you. So that being said, let's just kind of go down real quick, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but this is something I wanted to know. So if you think back, way back, your first sales transaction, what was your first sales value-ish?
Like first year.
Your first transaction ever?
My first transaction ever, I was very fortunate with Tom. It was in West Chase.
Mhm.
The unfortunate part, my mom died the day before. It was supposed to go live. And it was a teacher of my son. She had to move. She couldn't lose weight. I said, no, you need to go take care of God. So it was, I think, it was West Chase, it was $325,000.
Okay. Price points have definitely gone up since then.
Especially West Chase.
Right, exactly, exactly. All right, so 325, Paul?
I was in, what's the first, I'm trying to think of the name, it's land on anything in a year, but no, it's the question.
Cheval?
Cheval, thank you.
I was in
Cheval 375, I was working with this buyer forever, it was before I was at KW. And I told him, I said, Ray, we gotta wait till your wife comes and gets home, because if the weed swore up and down, he could pick the house. And I'm like, I like hanging out with you, but. Yeah, 375.
Awesome.
And that was probably about $900,000.
Oh, gosh.
Exactly, yeah.
Mine was $535,000. It was a buyer that worked for the agency that I used to work for, moving in from Vegas. So it was my first buyer. I probably showed him 70 homes. I'll never do that again.
But you do what you gotta do when you're new.
I know, but you know what? I could have done, knowing what I know now, I could have definitely focused on
So we're talking probably what, 2 years back?
2.
Okay.
$170,000.
That should be, we're celebrating.
That's not my lowest.
Oh.
No, 59,000.
38, baby.
Okay.
We've had 170,000 vacant land, South Tampa. It now has a $750,000 house on it, which I did
Oh, okay.
myself, but yes.
Well done on the land.
Thanks
Hi,
for
Dorn.
for helping with that.
First one was, fourplex in South Tampa on Melville, 544,000. Only reason I got that is that I faced my fear and called through my sphere and let people know I was in real estate if they didn't know. And this was a brother of a friend of mine who gave me the shot, and when I had to put the first offer in, I called my sponsor Carolyn and said, I need to put an offer in, what do I do? Just email them what they want to pay? Created a productivity coaching program. But, so make the calls to people. If you're a newer agent, make the calls, let them know that you're in real estate. These are people that know you, like you, and trust you, and they will want to give you referrals.
Isn't that what I did to you?
Yeah. That's what we all do to each other.
That's it, exactly.
So my first transaction was $67,000 in Holiday. You know, those cute little 2-bedroom, 1 bath.
They're all flooded now.
1 bath in the garage with no heat, or that was it. And similar to you, Mike, it was my plumber neighbor across the street, it was his daughter.
Got it. Spirit. What you got, Carolyn?
Well, my first transaction ever was 165,000 out in Riverview. And the way I got that was with another brokerage business. And I was setting up my little cubicle and sitting there not knowing what to do and counting paper clips and whatnot. And my mentor, who some of you may know, Anthony Malafonte, we were there on a Saturday. He was like, hey, I'm gonna go grab some lunch. You okay to like hold down the office? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Well, it's no sooner than he leaves the door than in comes this couple who told me that they had just arrived from Texas and they needed to buy a house and could I help them? And Anthony, you know him as like such a jokester. I thought he was pranking me. And I almost said, but something inside, my internal editor went off. I was like, no, this is good. And they actually were, and I helped them buy this house. And it was like the best transaction because this was 15 years ago, so things are a little different than they are now. But the sellers were the type of sellers that had like this little notebook of all the documentation and all the things and perfectly neat as like a little house. And the agent was great on the other side. And my husband was a lender, and everything went off without a hitch. And when it was all said and done, literally on closing day, like sellers and buyers and agents and lenders were all hugging in the parking lot at the title company. This is when you close together. And then we all went to dinner together. And like, oh, this is great. I love real estate. And my husband's like, he's been in the business a lot, longer than I had at that point. He's like, this is not how it normally is. I probably like this all the time. But that one was a good way to see it.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I just want to tell a quick story because I get my dad joke out real quick. So when I first started, as a new realtor, I was getting a lot from people. Whoa, how long have you been in real estate? How much have you sold? What have you sold? Things like that. So we had, a lot of you might know him, Scott Towns. He was at my former brokerage and kind of in a coaching position type thing, more of a reference. And I asked him, I said, how do I handle that one? He says, what you need to do, he says, go out and find some vacant land, right? And then when they ask you that, how much have you sold? You can say, hey, I've sold a lot. Sorry, moving on. All right.
I love dumb jokes.
This takes a little longer. All right, so moving forward, now let's talk about what was your highest transaction?
My highest transaction was 2.1 million, and it was actually shared with Kelly Corellia. We did a buy side with a client that wanted to work with me that I didn't want to work with. Say it just. I've known her a buyer a long time. And that one was really interesting. And then my others were like 1.9. So. And I've been in real estate. I don't know, this might be too. I've been 9 years, and so I just thought maybe good idea.
Yeah, we're definitely different across the panel for sure. Well,
The highest sale is 2.65, and new construction. Forever.
give or take.
2003, I don't know. So 2004.
Wow.
So, like, I still feel like a new guy, but.
Yeah, that's all right.
Really?
And another thing to note is, when we went through the lower transactions, or the first transactions, which were clearly lower price point, Genesina actually had a pretty good price point, but again, we're only 2 years removed, so.
Yeah, so I just had my anniversary, so 2 years, and The highest one I've sold so far is 949.9, and I have a 1.1 and a 1.2 on the market right now.
All right, coming soon.
No, they're still sitting there.
Closing, coming soon.
Yeah, fire.
Correct, exactly.
Been licensed since 2019, and highest price point is $960. It was a 1970s relic on the water in Treasure Island, and the client came from my database, who would probably have been Carolyn's client had she not recruited me when she helped me buy my house. So, yes, there you go.
Good to have done. Licensed in 2014, highest 1.365, former neighbor.
Nice.
I've been in real estate 12 years, and the highest transaction was 1.7, and that was actually last year. And they were neighbors who, strolled and walked their dogs, and so just knew them that way. And basically, they just stopped me one day when I was feeding my cows and said, "Hey, as one does, yes."
You're answering every day.
I know you can relate.
Pretty typical. As I like wearing a ponytail, probably a John Deere t-shirt and shorts and muck boots, I did not feel very professional. But I had enough interaction with them in other settings to, they felt comfortable. Right. Yeah, well, not even these, but, anyway, so the crazy thing about this story is they said, we don't know, we're moving to Chicago, we don't know if we wanna rent our house or sell our house. And so I had that conversation with them, and at that time, I said, I think if you want to move back, which you think you might want to, then you should probably rent it. So I didn't know that I could have put it in MLS as a rental, like Michelle Marino told me that after the fact.
Yeah.
So it got pushed with another realtor for rental, and then I talked to Michelle. It was really a bad day. But they came back to me, and I stayed in touch with them, and they wound up listing it because the rental, what they wanted for the rental was unrealistic, and what they wanted to sell it for was also unrealistic too. But when you take $100,000 price cuts,
Right.
that you'll get it sold. So
Yeah.
anyway, they were just neighbors that I had a great relationship with.
Don't you have another 1.7 or so right now?
I've got 1.7 in the pipeline, and I have a closing on Tuesday for 1.6.
There you go. Okay, I knew there was one up there.
Yeah.
Awesome, congrats on that. Carolyn?
Hi, sales rep question. 2.2. And
2.2, how many years in?
I've been in 15, in
Okay.
a month and a half. And that came to me through another friend and client. It's one of the few that I'm not very, I don't pick up a lot of money from CPW, but this one came off listing marketing for another listing I had. This client came to me through that. I've sold numerous homes for him, and ultimately he bought this. So it is a long, slow process, I guess, to get there, but that's the thing about business and sending it to people and growing with them, and you'll be their resource.
When time comes. All right, so we're gonna jump into some questions now, and at any point, if you want to expand on anything, clarification, please feel free to raise your hand and jump in as well. So, starting with, let's see, how do you identify, and let's just do this, let's just go across, and if you want to partake, let's go. How do you identify and attract high net worth clients who are looking to buy or sell luxury properties?
So also to go with luxury with Keller Williams is $700,000 and up for the Tampa Bay market. Okay? $700,000. So just to say that's where the threshold for KW luxury comes from. Then you have the Guild, which is the oh my gosh, it's another one that you can get. I can't think of the acronyms, but that one's it's yes. That one's $500,000. So you can be certified luxury with one and take a test, and then you can do a KW also. I'm actually luxury pro liaison, so I am part of luxury group.
We'll come back to
Yeah, so sorry. So anyway, so attracting is also, going through being part of the country club or being and we were horse riding, equestrian, and doing open houses, and in asking people that had high dollar luxury, may I do your open houses? And then it's just being there, being that person, even networking with, different groups, the tennis league. So, it's just the high net worth and even like getting to know your divorce attorneys and your estate planners, there's different ways that you can also get the niche.
Physician groups?
Physician, yes, and I will say physicians are the ones that are always offended when you want to proof of funds or proof of Google, I'm not gonna do that. And there's also, that's a whole other ball.
Right. So I'm gonna go back to that question. I know Julie addressed it as well. So same question, but are there any specific networking strategies or platforms that you have found to be most effective?
So different networking, I do a big referral business, everybody gets that. Even I go to the events, to all the conventions, I'm part of Lux Pro, I go to the luxury things. So I do network and do a big referral business. My logo has, I had this done in 2020 for Dallas Sailoring. So everybody knows, oh, you're Florida, it's a talking piece, and so that has been my big bread and butter. I go to all of it. I just got back from Gary Keller's mastermind. I've been invited home for $4.
Yep.
And I'm not one of those two. I did not grow up with money. My skirt is from Salvation Army. The shirt, because it is hard, people look at you certain ways. I listen to this every time I go to these conventions. Because you're getting around people that are really intense and you want to feel good. Anyway, that's what but the networking in the referral business, and it's just, did I answer it right? Right now.
Careful the pins out.
But I think I answered it.
You did. Anyone else want to expand on that? Anything?
What was the question?
I answered right.
It was a while ago. How do you identify and attract high net worth clients who are looking to buy or sell luxury properties? And then are there any specific networking strategies or platforms?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I'm not as purposeful as Julia is about the networking stuff. Like that's not my comfort zone, or it's something I necessarily enjoy. Like when I'm, at the conventions and stuff, I'll go to luxury things, but not all of them. Kind of things. You do, and I like that. But the other thing is that it's surprised who knows people, right? So it's being in your database because, I remember Gary and Nikki talked about a $50,000 transaction they did with a girl buying her first home, and their parents got referred to her like 1.1 they were buying. So these luxury clients are in your database. You just may not know them.
Okay.
So it's not been my focus, but it is part of something we do. Sorry.
Yeah, good point. Kirk,
I was just going to say, if you've ever heard me talk about it, I say this all the time, and I think it's something that's preached at international level as well, is that luxury is not necessarily a price point. Luxury is the service level that you provide, and it goes back to what Paul was saying. You treat every client the same, you treat every listing the same, you don't cut corners on listings, you do your very best job, full out every time, and those referrals will come. And the first time home buyer just might have the really rich uncle. You don't know, but if you make those people feel like they're the most important thing that's ever happened to your business, and you give them the same level of service and communication that you give everyone, that's gonna trickle down. And I think that's really the most important thing to think about. Go ahead, Jen.
Similarly, I think when I thought back about where those luxury listings have come from, it was organic. It was relationships with my database. It was doing the one thing when I was brand new, walking across the street, talking to the plumber, talking to Kevin when he's picking up his mail, telling everybody that I was in real estate. And I wasn't focused on luxury. I wasn't even focused on luxury until like 3 years. I didn't know I was luxury qualified until last week. Seriously. But when I think how these folks came to me, it wasn't listings in the beginning. It was buyers, and it was my friends that I used to ride Harleys with in Clearwater, who I've never done a transaction with ever. But Harleys are cheap. Yeah, Harleys are cheap. But they came to my event. And then they basically picked up the phone and said, our friends are moving from Washington and they have a lot of money. We want you to help them find a house. And I showed them 3 houses. And everybody that I've ever helped in that price point, when I look back, has always come from my database for sphere of influence or my raving fans who just know me, and I've never done a transaction. So
The biggest thing is just be genuine, and I think that's a good example of that, because if you're just trying to sniff out a price point and sniff out a commission check, they see that a mile away. They see that in their world all day, every day. Like, people are always trying to get a piece of whatever they have. So if you're showing up with your systems and your models and high standards and ethics, and that's gonna communicate, and they're gonna trust you with one of their largest investors.
Well, I have a client, I've done 6 transactions with, she's my best client. We met, I sold her place for $300,000. She came into money, I've done 6 transactions with her. 2 of the transactions were 1.8 million. So when I get so annoyed when somebody I have open houses and somebody's like, oh no, I don't do anything below 500. You don't understand that 500 could be something for that person. Do not chase a number, because whoever walks in that door might be your next. You don't know. Sorry.
All right, so we've captured a lot of the questions actually in that one. So all good, I'm gonna move on. What are the key differences in marketing a luxury property compared to, a standard residential property? And then how does KW Luxury support the distinction?
For me, it's nothing. That's my biggest problem. Like, if you've got a $350,000 single-family home in a tract subdivision, you should still be doing all the things for that property that you would be doing at the luxury level. Certainly, there may be a little more flashy video, or there might be more photos, or there might be some GoPro. But you should still have a system in place for every single listing and follow that through. The lower price listing should not get less. And if you show up that way, I think it naturally comes to you.
I added, and this is something that Carol helped me with, is because when I started, I was literally buyer heavy. My first year was probably like 90-10, and now I'm flipped to probably 70-30 most listings now. But to have that system, and as part of the system, I offer staging consults that I cover. Whether they utilize their own items or they do a fully staged with the stager, but that is something that I've added from that. And back to the database, my 2 last year came from my neighbors. So I sold one across the street, the other one down the street was listed with a second agent. She canceled that. I picked up that listing and sold that one.
Oh, wow.
But staged both, and because the second agent on that other house, the pictures were exactly the same. There was nothing staged. So the stager came in and said, you don't want a pool table right in the front. There was a lot of thinking in putting yourself in the buyer's shoes of how they're gonna see the house.
The lifestyle.
Right before Thanksgiving, that was like a space, family gathering area, suite room, pool table upstairs, which wasn't cheap, but, it made a big difference in how you entered, what you saw when you first entered the home. Because that first, from the curb in.
I do the same thing. I have a stager consult, same thing. She starts at the curb, works her way all the way through the house and to the back, and it's fairly inexpensive, but it's so crazy the difference that it makes. People are like, why do you pay that money up front? And I did it for a $350,000 home, just like I did it for 1.2. Yep. And it makes such a difference in your pictures, and it's not you being the bad guy. Like, I had a family, they were about to have a baby, and they had shit everywhere. And we're recording, Messina. I'm sorry.
Reel her in.
They had stuff everywhere, and she suggested, why don't you get one of those, those bins, or whatever they are, pods. And they did it, and it looked so good, and we had multiple offers. We closed it didn't appraise, so we closed for $15,000 over asking and 7 offers. So my point with that is, you just never, that money, for me, is well spent. Otherwise, that home could still be sitting on the market. And then as far as, back to your question about, how you target or whatever luxury, I don't. Everyone, I was going through them, every one of them has just kind of been, one was a former client, one was the former client's neighbor who has a realtor that she does mostly $5 million properties, so he was certain she wouldn't want to take his 1.2, so. So,
I would guard against that too, right?
Yep, perception.
Certainly you want to promote to your sphere that you do have the luxury capabilities and the skill set and the marketing for that. But you can also pigeonhole yourself, because I've had people come in, you probably wouldn't want my, no, yes I would, I would, I would like, absolutely like your demo, you know? And so I think that goes just back to communicating that you deliver a certain quality service to everyone.
Yeah, people don't understand until outperform. So you, like being the economist of choice and all those things, and, you know, the ranges in which you work, which is all of them, you know, and as far as advertising, we're very similar. We do the same thing for all of us. You know, and, it's like, it drives me nuts when we are not going to have a property stage, because like taking pictures of blank rooms,
Yep.
it's like, I mean,
Agreed.
what the hell is that? Right?
Agreed.
So, I mean, if your first showing takes place online and that's how you're going to attract people, then, you know, go all out, right?
And I have it, and I have, if anyone is real inexpensive, virtual staging. You know, it's really nice because, you know, you have those that, it is a blank room, and you can't, to stage, like I just did in Tampa Falls, it was $3,000 for the first month, and then it was $1,200 each month, which is a big help. So I have some, and then the rooms that we didn't stage, I virtually staged. And then another thing is to get up a photo of that virtual stage in the home, so people can visualize. Because you may see it online, but when they walk in the house, they don't know. So there's little tricks that you add to it that I, you know, and you tell them, oh no, I want this, oh, I want to put everything on board.
Throwing everything at me.
But it's all about it. It's just going in and this is what I'm going to take. And I am the same way. With 150,000 to $1 million. The truth in this day, they want to know that they can trust you, love you, confident in you, and that you're going to listen, you know, have the communication.
Mike, you were gonna say?
I was gonna say, pay attention to what your competition is doing. So go to open houses on other luxury listings. Like, you know, is your standard an 8.5 by 11, you know, flyer, and is everyone else doing an 11 by 17, heavier stock, glossy, booklet, booklet type of thing? So you go to those open houses, see what they're doing per stadium, see, so know what they're doing so that you can understand how to, counter detail in the listing presentation. That what, how could you plus it up based on what your competition is doing?
Okay, I'm gonna ask one more because I want to give a couple minutes for anyone else to ask any questions. So if there was one piece of advice that you wish you had known when first starting in luxury, what would that be? Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I would say if you look at your real estate license, it doesn't say Real Estate Sales Associate. You have every right to go out and list a $2 million property as you do a $200,000 condo. It is how you present yourself. And until you have your me story, focus on the we story. What does our brokerage do? What do we do for luxury? What do you and your team do to get lit homes sold? So focus on the we story, but you have every right to go out and work with a luxury buyer and get a luxury listing.
And before I forget, can I just add,
Yeah,
the
please.
first Wednesday of every month at 11 o'clock in the training room, we stream a webinar through our KWRI luxury group. Brady Sundell leads that. It's an hour-long conversation. You're welcome to bring your lunch, and then we hang out and we mastermind, whether it's around the topics that Brady brings up in the call, or if it's just something that's going on in your world that you need some help with. So I'm always here first Wednesday of the month, 11 a.m. So bring your lunch and mark off 2 hours. And we'll have
I wanted to piggyback off of what Mike said. My very first listing appointment was a for sale by owner, and they ended up selling it for $949,000. Now, I didn't get the listing because I was abysmal, but my point is, it doesn't matter. The skills that you bring to the table, and obviously my skills were less then, but what you bring to the table doesn't matter if it's a $200,000 or a $2 million. So don't limit yourself. One of my luxury listings I actually got from sending one of those letters, like I have a buyer in your neighborhood, and they didn't know me, but so don't limit yourself with, oh, I'm not going to send a letter to this neighborhood because they'll never pick me.
And if you feel like, well, maybe my skill set is not here yet, and I would like some help, you can partner with somebody. You can work out amongst yourselves the financials on that, whatever makes sense and what seems fair for everyone. But I would rather, if I was brand new and I had a chance at a listing that I might not yet ready to take on myself, I'd rather partner with somebody and get that across the finish line, and then you've got a story to tell, and then that's how you build. So there's plenty of people in here that would be willing to guide you through that.
And all
Rather
else
than-
fails,
and
you've got
not
7 fantastic individuals sitting up here as
And
well.
always fall back on the numbers of your brokerage. I mean, I don't think we tell our story enough that this brokerage does dominate the luxury market in Northwest Wicklow County. And I don't think we own that enough, when we're telling our stories to all of you.
Keller Williams Real Estate sells more luxury
Yes.
real estate than any other franchise in the United
And
States
going-
by about double.
So we have on Keller Williams Luxury Pro and the luxury site, you have all the marketing materials, you have the lore, the language of real estate. It gives you the numbers of what Keller Williams is doing nationally, internationally, we are international.
In real time.
Then you also have like the little logo that you earn in with 4 and 1, you know, 2 years, you sell 4.
Yeah.
Then you are allowed to have luxury on your sign, every bit of your marketing. Now, it can get taken away, you know, you don't continue.
Maintain.
But there is, and then as far as if you do get a luxury one, and you go to a listing point, ask somebody to shadow, go with you, you know, that can help, and look at the materials before you go in and what you present, and, you know, there is so much online that we haven't, and I've been working so much that I've been wanting to get it out there too,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
help, but it's such a unique, KW wants to see it sell, and that's why they're doing so much with Grace and Caroline.
For sure.
Know your market too. If you're gonna go to an appointment, know that the market within the market, because if you say, you use blanket numbers and, oh, we are in a, we're still in a balanced market or still in a seller's market, well, in that price point between 1.5 and 2.5, it may be a stronger buyer's market. So prepare yourself for that specific submarket.
If you
It's important.
cannot, yeah, Gary Baldini, I go in every month, I can't make it to his sessions, we have it, they put it on our KWTP website, the numbers for the previous month, and print up Hillsborough County, Pinellas, print those charts and show, because we are at 5.7, you know, months of inventory, Pinellas County, we're at this, then he's got a chart that shows the dollar amount and how many have sold the previous month. Those are, you need to walk in with that, you need to be like, I know my area. You know, it's, I love that he does that.
And he's doing it today.
I
How
know.
about that? Quick pitch.
Cheating.
And I have
So-
to go to Riverview.
If you are available, Gary will be here at 1, right? 1 o'clock, yep. Gary will be here at 1 o'clock. Sorry, I gotta ask one more, Julie, and I know that you are that person. Anyone else Lux Pro member? No, okay. So Luxury Pro, KW Luxury Pro is a membership that you are part of and you are a liaison as well. So in regards to that, your experience with Lux Pro, what have the major benefits been for you?
The friendships you make with it, the networking is great. I love to travel, so every month, they're in Maui this week.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't going to Maui without my husband. That's and I actually was in Austin yesterday at Keller Williams' office. But it's like last month we were in Kansas City. You get to see the different markets, you get to networks, and you meet those other agents in those markets. So there's somebody coming here, you get to see the better markets. Then it's not just, oh, luxury. Like last month, we had a woman who wrote a book, and it's about, you know, lifestyle and the setbacks in life. You know, life's not easy, like, and it's just like, you know, she was fabulous. And then the month before that, we were in Charleston. And Charleston, it was an artist that spoke with us. And then you get to see the life, you know, Charleston. You know, the materials they show, the ideas, and like, I was blown away. And it's a great group. It is $250 a month. It has to be earned in. You have to also ask to be and get accepted. And then at the end of October, November, we're going to be in West Palm for the Luxury Symposium. I mean, they've brought in, you know, the Red Shoe author. That's actually, he's in Maui right now. They've brought in, you know, different presenters to also go with the psyche of real estate, psyche of a happy life, taking care of yourself. It's not just all like, you know, go sell, you know, multi-million-dollar home. And it is pretty impressive just like to hear other people's stories. But not everybody is, you know, it's not, and not everybody is aspiring to that. They just want to do better and give a better experience. So I really enjoy it. And it is neat to go. Like there's places that like, you know, I'm in a $20 million mansion on the mountain in Vegas, you know, at family reunion. It was just like, I grew up over here in Citrus Park. My mother was a mail lady, my dad was a probation officer. this is, you know, it opens up a whole.
Sure. All right, well, thank you all for that. I want to take a couple minutes. Any questions from any of y'all? Anything else? I know we've covered some different things as far as marketing, clients, et cetera.
Betsy.
No, not yet. You're trying to, go ahead.
So when you guys are competing against other luxury agents and you're going to an appointment, and you feel like you might be on the fence of getting or not getting it, what's your go-to mindset as far as what you do or say or what do you leave behind?
I always come in with a gift. I'm never good at anybody's house without a little gift in hand, so I bring a little gift to, I mean, it's just a, sort of like a pre-packing kit, so I'll have like a little tape, a Sharpie, little piece candle, I think that one, for Parcamo, just like little things. It starts the conversation, you come in the door with something, most people don't, sets the tone, relaxes everybody, and then just, at that point now you're having a conversation versus a sales pitch.
Like Caroline Howe and Brady saying not make, everybody thinks it was Brady's idea, but Caroline, it's actually Caroline's, she's a $200 signature. Now, we all don't do that, but I have a soy candle company that will do your logo on it, and you go in and she says, you know, by the time, you know, this candle burns out, I have sold your home. And it's, you know, it's just like, it's a surprise and delight, and that's a big part of it. You know, your marketing piece too, and if you are, you feel like you're circling the drain, and, you know, you can put your best forward, and sometimes if you weren't hired, maybe that wasn't the right one for you. So, and then maybe ask why. Always ask, so why didn't you go with me? And I will tell you most of it.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like an imposter on this panel. So I always go back to two things. People are gonna remember how you made them feel, one. And two, people wanna work with people they know they like and they trust. So the majority of the people that I work with are with my database, but now I'm, you know, a couple of years in, starting to expand from that and getting some referrals from that. But at my core, I'm comfortable with me. If you get me, you're gonna get sneakers. So they are tree torns with fuzz on them, but
They're very nice.
but I just think of, I'm organic, and it's about making them comfortable and meeting them where they are and learning about them. It's not about me, it's about them.
Which is really just to say, don't assume this is a certain price point, so these people must be a certain way, and they must drive a certain car, they must belong to a certain club, and they must have grown up with X amount of dollars. They might have come from nothing. They might not be looking for that flashy person. But so the point is just be yourself and allow that to happen organically, because if you don't, then it's not going to be a good fit for the whole thing. So
And that could be their biggest asset.
yes, show up as you are, armed with all the data and all the ways that KW can help you sell that listing, but just be you. And, you know, obviously dress
Another
professionally,
good
but no one's saying that you have to have like Louis Vuitton on, you know.
Yeah. Jennifer, or I'm sorry.
Yeah, Tony Giordano is also a big high-up agent, Keller Williams, and he did a podcast, or a Zoom for us once, and I was like, he goes, if you don't have that Rolex, if you don't have that Breitling, they're not looking for Rolex, they're looking for the unique, just don't wear the watch. Don't wear the watch. Don't go put yourself in debt with the car. I drive a lifted Bronco. I love my lifted Bronco. Yeah, like, here I am. But again, and then also if you feel like you need it, again, I shop with Salvation Army. It's, you just don't have to have it to get that luxury deal. Yeah.
Paul?
There's a book from years ago called Millionaire Next Door, right? And it's about the average millionaire in the United States, and how they view the things they do. Like the average millionaire drives a 10-year-old car, paid, right? Their house is paid off. They've been married X number of years. You know, all the things, and you're like, okay, well, we assume a lot of times that people are a certain way, as has been already said, but everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. So I would just go and assume that, and if they don't, then maybe we don't get work with it.
One final thought, Mike.
All right, so Daryl, to your point, what I do is, also, if somebody's, you know, they're higher net worth, there's gonna be some type of digital footprint for them. So I wanna learn about the person and work that into the conversation. So, like Jen, in the course of your business as whatever monkey you are, whatever, like you, so talk about them, because that's what they want, and then if all else fails, steal their cat until they sign the listing.
Be knowledgeable about that.
That, no, exactly.
We all
Way to bring it home.
I was just
Oh,
saying,
she's
it
saying
doesn't
more.
hurt to be knowledgeable about some of the things that they might be interested in, to be conversational about those things, but you don't necessarily have to do all those things. You should be able to, as with any sales position, you should be able to have meetings like our day with people over a certain subject, but you don't need to go in there feeling like, I'm not getting this listing because I didn't go on the conversation.
Yep, exactly.
So go stop them.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the other cat.
Exactly, that's what we said, that's
So-
the bottom line of what we said.
All right, Jen?
Just one
All
last.
right,
little
one
thing.
last thing, come on.
One last thing.
Be gracious
Yes.
in that when you know that you're up against competition, or even if you don't. I mean, be who you are, be genuine, present the data, and then, you know, when you leave, follow up with either a handwritten note afterwards, if you've got a timeline that they're gonna call you back and let you know they've made a decision, or if they ask you to call on a certain day, or they say, I'm gonna call you on a certain day, they don't call you, you reach back out to them. Or when you are supposed to call them on Monday, do that. Just set the standard and follow along.
I think this is important, though. You need to tell the story of the recent listing, the offer you got accepted.
Just tell them they don't want to hire the second best
I would
agent.
always get along with your co-broker because you might be dealing with them.
Oh, and don't be a jerk. Like, don't be a jerk.
Good editing.
My offer was accepted because I was not
The jerk.
a jerk.
Right.
And the other agent was. So while I knew that the offer I was presenting on a $1.6 million house was, they had another offer coming in like right behind us, I still gave them 24 hours to respond to our offer. The agent who came in behind me gave 30 minutes.
Also, if you're on the buy side, if you need offer, if there's offer instructions in the MLS, read them and follow them. In my most recent Cheval sale, I had multiple offers at $850. My seller chose one with $7,000 less net to him because the buyer's agent was a complete mess on the highest offer. And he's like, I don't wanna deal with that, these people don't have time.
That's a great point. Like, so
Yes.
networking with people in our business, you get to know who the real professionals are and, you know, how to make those deals work when you don't, like texting.
Or just fill in all the boxes and blanks, that's all I
Well,
want.
that's one of the things I look for on a contract. If I get one that's, not, you know, owner of record and all that stuff, I'm like, You know, if they're competing, they're not at the highest.
All right, we're gonna wrap on that. If you have any other questions, they're around. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to answer any questions. Hang on, don't leave, don't get up. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Chance. Thank you to all of you. Congratulations on all of your awards. So Top Flight has taken care of lunch today. We're gonna run over there in just a second. But I also wanna mention real quick, all of our other vendors. So if you've already joined the KWTP Vendor Alliance Facebook page, great. If you have not, please do so. And yeah, special thanks to all the other vendors that are up there. And coming soon. Yeah, so we're doing a great job with our vendor program. So for all of the people that have submitted any of your best vendors to us, thank you so much. We are right now tapped out on all inspection companies. We have no more space for any inspection partners. But anyone else that you have, whether it's 1, whether it's 10, please share them with us. We don't need something from every category in the industry, but anything that you might have, please feel free. If you've used them and they've done a great job, we want to know about it. We want to be able to be in business with them and be able to highlight them and put them in our program. Anything else? If you have any questions, please see me afterwards. If you want to funnel that way, we'll get started with lunch. Thank you for all being here. See you soon.